Welcome back to our what's it called again?
Two Nigerians on deck. That's what we
Two Nigerians on deck.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about the consigns, isn't it? What we're concerned about.
Well, yeah. Based on how we structured it the last time, so we talked about praise Nigeria, right?
Right.
So we gave all that praise, which I think we should actually do another one.
Yeah,
at some
I agree.
point, you know. But now let's move on to concerns. You know,
Yeah.
what can we highlight? Not from a negative point of view. Let's look at it from a potential point of view. That these are concerns we're facing now. That if they're not addressed, they might become an issue down the line. But we still look at it from a positive point of view. You know.
Yeah.
I think that way we can extract value in the conversation more, as opposed to us just making it a problem.
I think the concern which we think we're looking at is from education perspective.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That's
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody who's passionate about education and education in general. My background is in education development.
right.
I'm mostly fascinated. I'm interested, but I have a radical view of education in Nigeria, most especially in Africa.
Yeah, we'll go for it though. We'll see how it goes. But
Yeah.
I mean, mine is straightforward. I would look at it from when I look at the average Nigerian child, right? Is that child educated enough to meet certain standards? You know, if not, then why, right? And then once you identify the why, how do we caveat that why? How do we go about it? Which obviously would be concerns now because obviously they're not in place. So I guess my question to you is the average Nigerian getting the desired education that you would want them to have? And if not, what are your concerns in that regard?
I think there's different layers to it. I look at the formative years. Let's say between the age of 5 years old to that kind 7, 8 years old level,
Right.
even up to the whole primary school level. One of the common threats I notice is, and one of the biggest failures which we have assimilated into our education system,
Right.
is basically looking at education from the scale of language, from the side of language. The mistake, what I'm saying is, I think personally we should abolish English as the main teaching, even though we're English speaking country.
Is that a concern or just
I think it's a concern. And that
suggestion?
it's a suggestion and a
If we're going to
concern.
do that, how are we going to deal with the 500 dialects that we speak?
Yeah, that's it, because
we're
it's-
going to generalize one language, then we bring our tribalism as well.
No, it's not. We're not going to generalize one language, because what it is, if you go to Uromi village or to Ipokia village in Ogun State or to one remote village in Kano or one town or city and everything,
Right.
80% of those kids, or let me say 80, let me say 99% of those kids, before they engage with standardized education,
Yeah.
they speak their local language
Yeah,
within
I
that
agree.
little hub.
I agree.
And by the time they get into school, their formative years of learning, they've been taught in English language. Now they're learning a language while trying to learn knowledge,
Yeah.
which is totally complicated.
Yeah.
And then by the formative years when they're supposed to learn 1+1 properly, we learn to able to learn history, culture, and everything.
Yeah.
All those years they're busy trying to get a grasp of the language. But I'm not. It doesn't apply to kids who are the parents are influential. They have money. They speak English in their house, and then even still, those kids who speak English in their house, it's a lingo language that they still have to adapt to by the time they get to school, and it's a struggle. However, English speaking is not able to speak English is not a true test of knowledge
it's not
or
right.
this thing.
I
So
get
I
that.
can take a French speaking person,
Yeah.
born brought in a French speaking without never left France before,
Yeah.
take them to Ijebu, and they'll be totally clueless about life.
Yeah.
But likewise.
But what you're saying, or rather, what from a concern point of view, you're saying, hey, look, you have an issue with the fact that we're only using English to educate people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're suggesting something. You know, my concern, if anything, is how would that work? It's not like I don't see it working, but look at the things we need to factor in. This is before we go into other major concerns with education.
One of the greatest problem and one of the assets we have, and one of the greatest downfall is that Nigeria is so diverse.
Yeah.
Because we're diverse, we're not teaching cultural integration.